Welcome to US Tzu Chi 360. I'm Ginger Chang. Today we go back to the city of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, where Tzu Chi had participated in the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, or Rio Plus 20. Rio Plus 20 is a follow-up from the original Earth Summit in 1992. Sustainable development means to address the current needs without compromising the needs of the future generations. Now, 20 years later, many would argue that there has been minimal change. One of the voices at the conference was the youth. To tell us more about the significance of youth participation and activism, I'm privileged to have Amanda Nashawat. First off, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. I'm an environmental coordinator for the town of Secaucus.
Wow.
I also serve as chairwoman of the environmental committee for the town, as well as a commissioner. I'm an organizer, I'm an activist, and I am very, very diehard about these issues.
I understand you were able to go to Rio Plus 20.
I really wanted to be at Rio Plus 20. I wanted to be a megaphone for young people, specifically in New Jersey, and I knew that I have a lot of supporters and a lot of mentors who would help me fundraise. So I created a website called Send Amanda to Rio, and I fundraised through the blog.
Well, like you, our teammates actually encounter other youths who face similar problems like you, just getting to Rio Plus 20. So, in the first segment, we're going to follow Wen and Emily to revisit Rio Plus 20.
I'm attending the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development as a youth representative. We got to go into the plenary hall, which is where all the member countries, member states meet and debate.
20 years ago, the Earth Summit put sustainable development on the global agenda. Yet, let me be frank, our efforts have not lived up to the measure of the challenge. For too long, we have behaved as though we could indefinitely burn and consume our way to prosperity. But today, we recognize that we can no longer do so. Rio Plus 20 has given us a unique chance to set it right, to create a new model. We gather in Rio de Janeiro to shape the future of humankind. Our global footprint has overstepped our planet's boundaries. That is why I have made sustainable development as my #1 priority.
And that is why in the 21st century, the only viable development is sustainable development.
The principles that we're working with here are based on things that have been agreed 20 years ago. This is Rio Plus 20. We've had 20 years to work on these issues.
Since '92 until now, not a great progress in my view has actually happened.
So a lot of my life trying to campaign on issues that I think really worry myself, the concern about global warming.
People are here, nearly 70,000 people. So it has a lot of good energy here.
就像今天的开幕式，从外太空走进来。
Greetings from the International Space Station.
Looking at Earth from space, we cannot help but admire the beauty of our home planet. We salute all of you who are working together to chart a more sustainable future for planet Earth and the billions of people who live on our beautiful home in space.
The crew of the International Space Station wishes you success in your important work that will help ensure a bright future for our one and only planet Earth.
You know, I think that youth actually do have a voice at this conference. One of the very first people to address the plenary at the beginning of the conference was a 17-year-old from New Zealand.
Thank you, Secretary General and leaders, for the opportunity to address this plenary. Today, in this moment, I'm all children, your children, the world's 3 billion children. Think of me as half the world. You have 72 hours to decide the fate of your children. And I start the clock now. Tick, tick, tick.
When I attended a side event that attracted my interest, and the Secretary General Ban Ki-moon happened to be there. His #1 priority is sustainable development. Muhammad Yunus, the founder of Grameen Bank, who was a Nobel Peace Prize winner, as well as Ted Turner, as well as Dr. Jeffrey Sachs, famous economists, were all there. It was about youth-led innovation towards the MDGs. I first learned about Dr. Jeffrey Sachs, and he was one of the youngest tenured professors in the economics department in the history of Harvard.
20 years ago at Rio, the world got together to solve the big problems of climate change, biodiversity, and combating desertification. And you know what? If the world had solved all of those problems, you would have nothing to do. So the good news is that almost no progress was made. For 20 years, they have been an industry for lawyers, but not for solutions.
Disconnected from reality. They are no longer negotiators. They are no-go-shiators.
And it's already over the edge for people in the Sahel and the Horn of Africa and the other dryland parts of the world who are suffering more drying, more climate change, not as a future concept, but now. It's happening. They are just poor and voiceless, except if you help give the voice, you, the activists around the world.
Not only has it been an extraordinary commitment of time and of energy on our part, but it's also an extreme financial commitment. Some of us have scholarships from our university, but some of us are funding this totally out of pocket.
So this is a tree of vision for the future, visions from children and youth from around the world that have been brought in. It's our opportunity to speak up for our future because we're young people and we've been given the opportunity to get involved, so we should be here to participate.
We're extremely limited in how much participation we can have, but what we can do is have these awards like Fossil of the Day, is write policy briefs and blogs and make it clear.
Fossil of the Day awards the country who's doing the least, the most to block policy to stop the current climate crisis.
As an American, as someone who's watching my government right now and as a concerned youth, I was glad to see when the United States won the first Fossil of the Day award.
And our vision is not for a future where 9 billion people are all living like Americans.
The first 2 days have passed recognizing the United States and Canada for their continued resistance to progressive and aggressive policy.
I think they absolutely deserve this award, dubious award, shaming.
As you saw that the youth voices were silenced, because that's what's going to happen if we don't act now. We cannot have the youth voice silenced. We need to stand together, and we are innovating, we are creating, and we're implementing. And I think that the show of youth here is, throughout all of Rio 20, is this voice of the people.
The Major Group for Children and Youth, or MGCY, is one of the 9 major groups that officially represent civil society to push for socioeconomic and environmental sustainable growth. The youth organized the Fossil of the Day Award and firstly awarded the US. This award is given to the country that is doing the least to decreasing climate change. Amanda, as a strong advocate of climate change, are you proud to be an American?
Am I proud to be an American? Absolutely, because I am walking and working with American people in this movement all the time. And I know that the American people have this insatiable desire for innovation, for equality, for justice, and for revolutionizing the country. So I'm absolutely proud to be walking alongside the American people.
People's stereotype or view on young people is that they're loud, they're inexperienced. So, as the voice of the youth, why should we take the youth seriously?
the great thing about coming up with solutions to our problems is doing it with the diversity of people, with a young woman, with a young man, with an old person, with a business leader, with a politician. All these people working together, diversity of the people working together, communicating, will come up with a more efficiently successful solution to the problems that we face. So that's what young people have to keep in mind, is that they have, they have a seat at the table.
As Rio Plus 20 came to a close, many people were not satisfied with the results. Let's go see the youth scene at Rio Plus 20.
In support of sustainability, more than 200 business commitments were announced.
Over the next decade, we expect to provide $175 billion.
China will help other developing countries train managerial and technical professionals for ecological preservation.
We have coalesced around an outcome document that marks a real advance for sustainable development. We know this is one of the most pressing matters of our time.
Let us match words with actions. Our scarce resources is time. It is running out.
At the end of the day, we go through life with a plan A or a plan B. There is no planet B. We need to get this one right.
Sustainable development unites North and South, East and West. Sustainable development is about you, about me, about today's youth and tomorrow's children.
They talk about what needs to be done in the future. It's ridiculous. None of the things that they say need to be done are outlined in this text.
So this is a people assembly. It's a civil society being inside since now 10 days in these negotiations, but are feeling extremely frustrated with what is happening. We realize that all the points we had tried to push for, to explain that those were real solutions for us, they have all been removed from the document.
And to see all of that work come crashing down because people can't agree on an ambitious text is embarrassing. It's embarrassing for us, it's embarrassing for them, it's embarrassing for everyone involved in this process. To have to go home and say we have failed yet again.
If they do not accept our voice, then we try to voice it in different manner.
It's unacceptable for us. That's what you see behind us, is a protest against that.
They came together about an hour ago to really show the United Nations that this process has failed to deliver the type of solutions we need.
We've had 20 years of failing to enshrine the basic rights of all to water, to food, and to basic human rights.
I said that this is the outcome which no one is happy but my job and our job is to make everybody equally unhappy.
The only prosperous, sustainable economy is an inclusive economy. How we unleash the talent and energy of young people.
Mr. Secretary General, you're thinking about bringing young people into the United Nations. I applaud it too. You cannot beat the speed of the young people today. We are making barriers after barriers so that they cannot get in.
I see young people's role here as providing that vision for what we are working towards, and we see that young people really struggle to find their voice and to be heard there. And if we could find ways, whether that is through including young people on official member state delegations.
Their policies. We reject your policies. They are evil.
I stand for people's rights. I stand for people's rights. I stand for children's rights. I stand for children's rights.
20 years ago, there was real hope in Rio.
20 years ago, there was real hope.
this type of energy right here, this type of gathering, I think represents what young people and what people everywhere need to be doing. Coming together, networking, working out the type of campaigns and solutions that we can offer.
We know that another world is possible.
And this is what is at stake for Agenda 21 today.
Sustainable development at the core of your generation's challenge. And that is absolutely your generation's unique challenge, because no generation before you has faced this challenge in the way you will, like it or not. And you don't have the luxury of wasting 20 years like has just happened. You do not have time.
The decisions we make now, our action that we make now, have a very profound and real effects.
It's time for world leaders to pay attention to the youth. We're not just the future, but we're really creating a movement right now in the present.
Children are not the future, they are living now. They have many things to say, children from different parts of Brazil, and they are working hard to write a letter.
By being vegan, by driving hybrid cars and other actions as well. Because meat production takes a lot of toll on our earth. Like this.
Hello! Everything here is recycled.
It's not about future generations, again, elder generation, but it's about working all together.
Let us make real our legacy, a foundation that future generations can build on. Like most of you in this chamber, I'm also a father and a grandfather. And like you, I want a world where our children, our succeeding generations, can prosper and be happy. A world where all people can have a decent job and live with dignity. A world where everyone can breathe clean air, drink safe water, and have enough to eat.
僕は世界中を回りました。それで大人から老若男女全部取りました。それでやはり未来、本当に子どもたちの笑顔の笑顔は未来の希望に強くて、本当に未来は子どもたちの笑顔だということに到達したんです。北京オリンピックでチャン・イーモン監督と仕事をしました。北京オリンピックの開会式にこの笑顔を花を咲かせました。この笑顔は、被災地の笑顔です。日本の東北の津波にあった笑顔です。負の遺産の大きいところほど笑顔は美しい。マイナスが強ければ強いほど笑顔は美しい。だからこの笑顔は希望と勇気を与えるんです。この子どもたちの笑顔を大切にするために大人たちは自分のことを考えるのではなくて、会議で終わった後にみんな疲れたけど、これを見たら何か見えた。だからやはりこれを見たらあんまりもう自分たちのことではなくて、本当に地球のことを考えるべき。
We trust you in the next 72 hours to put our interests before all other interests and boldly do the right thing. Are you here to save face, or are you here to save us? Thank you.
The winner of the Date with History competition posed the question, are you here to save the planet, or are you here to save face? I would argue that governments have neither saved the planet nor saved face.
It's more cumbersome, and I don't think we'll get very far.
I'm pessimistic about how the future will be after this conference.
I am hopeful, yeah. I think if you're not hopeful, then there's no point in being here.
350.org is an international climate change campaign that's connecting thousands upon thousands of young people in over 180 countries around the world. We've organized big global days of action with over 5,000 events. At every level, we've seen that the power of young people is driving this movement in new ways. They've figured out how to use Twitter, use Facebook, not just to do online action, but connect offline action in countries around the world into a really vibrant and powerful movement.
Wonderful thing about the internet, people now have a way of campaigning on issues like this.
Young people over the next 2 to 3 years really can transform the entire world and help push our governments to do the type of action necessary.
I'm still leaving optimistic about the people here.
Power to the people!
Events like the one behind me show that people all around the world are finding new ways of connecting and building a movement together.
Look, I think we are intelligent people. Think big, we can protect this beautiful Earth. I'll be going to space next year. I look forward to looking back at this beautiful Earth and knowing that it's going to be secure for the future, and it's up to all of us to make sure it is.
Welcome back. It's interesting to hear that there aren't as many skeptics or any exist at all. Speaking of this, Amanda, I believe you were actually a skeptic too.
Well, I graduated high school thinking that climate change was a hoax and that recycling was useless. When I got to college, I wanted to be a dentist and I wanted to enhance my resume, so I went and joined the environmental club to see, to look like I was involved with the college. And I became so sucked in because the people that were in this club were so dedicated and so passionate about social and environmental justice, and I just began to learn more, and then I eventually realized the reason why I didn't believe in climate change was mostly because I didn't understand it.
The final document that came out of Rio Plus 20 is called The Future We Want and provides the framework for the next 20 years. The youth were saying this is not the future we want.
Right. I'm an organizer, and I really truly believe in grassroots movements, and that young people are going to have to help their communities to achieve sustainability. So that is one thing that I definitely came back from Rio Plus 20 knowing and understanding.
I really hope that they take the sound advice that you gave today to heart. And lastly, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And for those of you at home, I hope you enjoyed today's presentation, and I'll see you next week.